There's some brown stuff in there. Is that it?
Yeah.
So what do you think when you look at this then?
Ashamed that that's my addiction.
Why is it shame? Why is that the feeling?
I've ruined my whole family with that.
Ice is the purest and strongest form of methamphetamine. Its use has increased in Australia by 300% over the last 5 years.
It's worse than heroin, it's worse than cocaine, it's worse than LSD. It's much more addictive, much more dangerous, much more damaging.
I think the police are about to make a statement now.
It's a pretty brutal attack, so we're working on the principle it's targeted.
A highly addictive drug and a deadly crime on my doorstep.
I woke up 90 minutes ago, and this is my first morning in Melbourne. And not only do I wake up to Lewisham weather, but I've woken up to this, blue lights in the alleyway behind the hotel. And it's a murder.
So why are so many Australians addicted to ice? Australia has never faced a drug like ice before.
Mate, you just sit over there, mate, for me.
Cheap to produce, highly addictive, and a gateway to chaos and broken lives.
That building is called Gatwick House.
It's a hostel with a bad reputation, but a good place to start.
How you doing? I'm Reggie.
Hello.
Hello. This is Sis.
Gatwick House is run by twin sisters Rose and Yvette.
It's really busy.
Actually, today's not bad.
Sorry.
We very rarely have a room vacant because this is usually the last resort.
Many residents are drug addicts, binging on ice in their rooms and then disappearing for days.
This is a tiny room, but this is one day's mess.
This is one day. Do you not want to be a bit more safe picking up needles?
I think that I'm getting used to as well.
Is that a regular occurrence for you?
Needles, yeah. Yeah.
How bad a problem is ice here?
Ice is such an epidemic.
You use the word epidemic. Is that justified when it comes to ice, or
I think so, yeah.
is that an exaggeration?
No, I think it's an epidemic.
Have you noticed a change in this business at all as the popularity of it has gone up?
Yeah. People argue a lot more. They're becoming much more violent than they ever were before, which makes it harder.
Ice can cause violence and psychosis. A new high at the sharp end of drug use, whether snorted, smoked, or injected.
Oh my God. Drugs hold a bit of a strange place in my memory and my upbringing, really. I was a kid that never really did anything and never got involved in anything. I say never really did. I've never done anything. I'm not even smoking a cigarette in my life, let alone taken a drug. So, you know, I've never looked down on anybody who uses, but I've struggled to understand it.
A quiet suburb of Melbourne. The last place you might expect to find an ice addict.
I didn't actually have any expectations as to where I'd be turning up to, but I am a little surprised that, you know, the sat-nav has brought me to manicured lawns and really pretty little houses and quiet streets.
Hello.
How you doing? Reggie.
Shani, how you
Nice to
going?
meet you, Shani.
Homeless for 3 months, 23-year-old Shani staying with her Aunt Cherie the night before going into rehab.
When did you actually start taking drugs?
14.
14.
But it was fun then, it's not now. With ice, you know, I started to use it, you know, quite frequently.
How much were you taking?
At one point, I would have been high pretty much 20 hours out of 24, I reckon.
In front of me, I see a well-kept, well-spoken, articulate young lady. Just looking at you, there are no giveaways.
I was a very heavy user and still people couldn't tell. I could hide it very well.
So what's got you to the point of knowing that rehab is where you need to be?
I have 2 babies who are 3 years old. I became homeless. I had to give my children to my auntie to take care of. And now I just want my family back.
You've clearly been a rock for Shani here, but Shani's not actually mentioned mum or dad.
Well, Shani and her mum don't talk anymore, and Shani wasn't raised by her dad.
Unfortunately, me and my mum have had a pretty rocky relationship since I was young. I grew up in a house where there was addiction too, so I believe that's, you know, part to blame as well.
What kind of addiction?
A drug addiction and alcohol. That taught me that if I take this, I won't feel anything.
Shani's addiction has made it difficult to cope with her sons. So Cherie has been looking after them both. But Shani wants them back.
I don't believe I would be here if it wasn't for my kids. I wouldn't be here. I would have tried to kill myself, or I would have killed myself by now.
You already tried once.
When?
It wasn't all that long ago.
A month ago.
Because I was homeless, I hadn't seen my kids in so long, and seeing them and having to say goodbye to them and knowing that I can't, you know, I'm not the one to put them to bed, and I'm not the one to, you know, provide for them, and I just didn't want to do it anymore.
It's hard. Yeah, it's very hard.
What do you want for your niece?
To get better. I don't want to have to raise her boys. I love them, but I want her to raise them.
Do you want to take 10 minutes?
I just want to sit outside and just get some fresh air.
Yeah. How you doing? I'm Reg.
How you going, man?
Shani's friend Dylan has come to wish her good luck.
Hello.
No stranger to ice, he moved out of Melbourne to get away from the drug and its effects.
Shani had like a schizophrenic episode in front of me. I just sort of woke up when that happened. You know, it really scared me. And I said, you need to stop or you're going to lose your mind. And
Need to stop. Ice.
yeah, everything pretty much.
Listen, this might sound like an incredibly strange request, but I'm really interested to see where you might have bought ice from and where you might have done it.
I can probably show you, like, places we would use.
There are dealers.
There are dealers that live along this road, yeah.
Apparently. Allegedly.
That's crazy to me because this just looks like the road that your aunt lives on. Did the residents try and shut down the properties or call the police on them?
Locals are similarly minded.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Supply and demand, they're going to be where the biggest demand is the highest concentration. Just want one of these driveways, really.
Just pull into one of these. On your last night before you actually skipped town and moved away,
Yeah.
did you have that one last hit?
Yeah.
How about you, Shani? This is your last night before you actually go in to rehab. Do you think that you'll smoke tonight?
I have an ice pipe on me.
I would smoke with Shani. If she's going to do it and go away tomorrow and I'm going to do it and go away tomorrow, that's justified enough in my head already.
Now, I don't understand addiction. I've never taken the drug that you're talking about. But it seems like tonight would be a bad time to take this drug. Am I completely wrong?
I understand that you don't understand, but you have to understand that you can't understand.
Can I see the pipe? There's some brown stuff in there. Is that it?
Yeah.
So what do you think when you look at this then?
Ashamed that that's my addiction.
Why is it shame? Why is that the feeling?
I ruined my whole family with that.
I really did struggle to understand why Dylan or Shani would be tempted to use tonight, it just feels like the worst way to start a journey to recovery. At this stage, I'm not sure if I will ever truly understand addiction, because to understand addiction on some level, you have to have had some sort of experience. I just really hope that she doesn't use tonight.